Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone, ever. So here on Invisible Condition, we get it, right? Like we know that life can be tough with an invisible condition, no matter what that thing is, whatever it is. Sometimes, some days are better than others, right? And so, but the other thing that we also know beyond the shadow of a doubt is that there is always hope, 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 hope. If you are running low on that, let me know. I would love to talk to you. You can comment on YouTube or Facebook, or if you are so bold, you can email me right there, jeff@hydrowithhope.com, and just put hope in all caps in the subject line. I'd love to talk to you. Let's chat. Nobody should be without hope. And so let's talk about it. Also, speaking of hope, I want to talk to you about my nonprofit arm of the show, which is called Hydro with Hope. And that is an organization that my wife, Catherine, and I formed a few years ago to help people with the condition of hydrocephalus, which is what I was born with, and which has resulted in 15 surgeries, including 7 brain surgeries. And so it's been kind of a wild ride, but we're still here, and I'm here to help, and I want to help you. And so if there is anybody that you know or love, because this hydrocephalus is actually pretty common. So chances are, if you have more than 8 or 900 Facebook friends, you probably have one of them or 2 of them that live with hydrocephalus. So it's that common. So now I got everybody thinking about their Facebook list. Don't start combing through and like trolling your Facebook friends. Okay, that's not what I meant. But all I'm saying is it's common, and our nonprofit is here to help. And that is a donation link for our nonprofit. So you can give once, you can give monthly. We're thankful either way. Thank you for your consideration and your donations. Now, I want to talk about, we're going to, you know what? It feels like it's been forever since Michelle has been on the show, but Michelle is back, and I'm going to bring her on the screen here, because there we go. The button pusher is on the job here. Michelle, good to see you. Feels like it's been a minute.
Yeah, you got to say welcome to live TV, everybody. That's your phrase.
That's right. Welcome to live TV, everybody. The button pusher took a minute off for a second there. Oh man, the gerbils aren't turning in the wheel like they should be. So
it is the time it is.
Good to see you again.
It's good to be here. Thank you. I'm excited for today's new topic. Always throwing something new out there.
By the way, everybody, just so you know, when Michelle shows up, I don't know what she's most of the time we'll talk before we hit the live button and come to you all with the message. But sometimes, like today, she just said, "Here's what we're talking about." I said, "I don't have a clue what that is." She's like, "That's okay. Let's roll with it." So this will be fun.
You're a very patient man, Jeff.
Hey, I know you well enough to know that I'm not being risky by doing that. So I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about a thing when I have you here on the show. So
I love it.
Anyway,
thank you so much.
So yeah, so go for it. If you want to recap why you're here and what you're doing, great. If you want to just dive in, whatever.
Sounds good. How's this for a new introduction? For those who've known me for a while, this will be new. And for those who this is the first time, this will be new. So I am what I call a soul midwife. And what does that mean? I am a board member of a nonprofit called Enduring Hope Foundation. And we have several different subsets of healing ministries and things that we do. to help people. So my journey started with working with chronic illnesses and working to heal myself of autoimmune conditions, severe allergies, like genetic disorders. At my worst, I was bedridden for years. I'm now fully healthy, and none of those things show up on any of my tests. And I don't need supplements or meds. I can eat all foods, including gluten, which I had an autoimmune reaction to. Yes, thank you, and thank God. And so,
Right.
so that's a remarkable transformation, and it's one that we don't see as common in today's world. And so what I used to say a lot is like, I have a background in functional medicine and I, got a master's in nutrition. And I blah, 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 blah. And like, here's my story and you can do it too.
All the letters behind your name and the
Right.
pieces of paper on the wall. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I felt put on my heart actually this past week is to start saying I'm a soul midwife, because I do say that in intimate circles, like with our clients. I'm like, yeah, this is actually like deliverance of your soul from wounds, traumas, lower levels of consciousness, if you will, and other things that cause people to be stuck in fear and stuck in shame and stuck in pride and stuck in their ego and these myriad of things. And we wrap all that up and call it survival mode. So we've been talking about getting people out of survival mode, and that is a concept that makes sense. It's starting to be talked about more often now in the world. And there's a difference between the language that is common in the world and what we are doing. So one little intro I've said before is like, okay, most people look at regulating their nervous system as I'm going to do some deep breathing and I'm going to go walk barefoot in the grass and do grounding. And I'm going to, use like mind tricks to like mind exercises to get myself from I feel very dysregulated to I feel back to my own normal baseline. And that's regulating. So God gave me a different word to describe what we're doing, which is calibrating. And what calibrating is really switching what our default mode is. So
it's kind of like the difference between a thermometer and a thermostat, right?
Oh, that's like, a good one.
Instead of I'm just here and this is the result, this is what the temperature is, you're setting the temperature because you're the thermostat.
That's so good, Jeff. Exactly. You're a soul midwife too. No.
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna go tell Catherine as soon as we're done here. I'm gonna go tell her and say, guess what I just am. Yeah. That's so I'm sure she won't look at me funny at all. Yeah.
Context. Tell her she has to watch the show for the context.
That's right. You want to know why? There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So that's so beautiful. We give you the buttons, right? So you can like know how to adjust you already have the buttons, right? But we're showing you where they are and how to adjust the thermostat. Exactly. So we're switching your default mode because the majority of the world lives in a survival based mode of thinking. It's just the paradigm we're in, our perspectives, our habits, our ways of interacting with the world all come from I need to survive, I need to look good and be like socially accepted and acceptable, right? I need to achieve success, which is defined by society, not by God, or what he's put in our hearts, like of what does success look for me in my experience of my life, and in my experience of him. And so because we are living in a society that is built on these survival mechanisms, it's very interwoven into our culture like a web. I do kind of think of it like a matrix. like the movie Matrix. And so it's woven in everywhere. And because it's everywhere, almost everywhere, and how so many things are built inside of that system, it can be very challenging to even know that there's a different way outside of that system. So when people are regulating and they're using these tools and these techniques and these modalities and these systems that are supposed to help us, they're getting glimpses of something that could be different, but it's not a lasting like breakthrough. And the reason is because they're still working inside of a survival mode of thinking and mode of operating, and just using different tools inside of it. So it's like what we are actually doing in Soul Midwifery is helping people break out of that matrix, so to speak, break out of that web, to really be able to see that there's an entire different grid system. There's an entire different network that you can plug into that is not at all based in survival, that is actually based in a higher awareness, that is based in an experience where you are not coming from fear anymore, where you are not tied to your past traumas, where you are not stuck in mental loops or spirals or like habits, right? Like it's pattern recognition and pattern breakthrough. And so when we really unwind ourselves from the patterns that are just operating in us, we have an entirely new perspective on reality, really. And that breakthrough is lasting and sustainable. The reason why is, if you've ever had an aha moment where you've learned something new and it just radically shifted your view forever of a thing, right? How a car works, or you know what I mean? Like a car, oh, I don't know. I put the key in, I push the gas pedal, that's how the car works, right? Then it's like the hood, you lift up the hood and you're like, whoa. Yeah, like, okay, wow. I mean, it's like that, how you relate to things change when you become more aware of what's going on and how it's working and how to change how it's working. And so every good inventor, like scientist inventor, has been able to have this same thing where they have pushed beyond what was the known reality, right? And then created the light bulb or whatever.
It happens all the time, right? Like what was it? Bannister, was that the runner, the track star back in the day? And it was like nobody broke a 4-minute mile. It's impossible. You can't break a 4-minute mile. It's humanly impossible until he did it. And then after he did it, like 30 other people did it later that year.
Yes.
Because they were shown that it was possible.
Yes.
And now now it's like old hat, 4-minute mile, no big deal. So
exactly. So and it's a lot of times, I'll say all the time, people just need permission and to know it's possible.
Yeah.
And then they can find it in themselves.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, what you said, this has been rolling around in my head since we talked before we were here, like when we were chatting before about the midwife thing, which kind of threw me off at first, but there's so many parallels to what you're talking about with the midwife, with the soul midwife versus a regular, like a midwife, how we know a midwife is, right? Like our youngest was born at home. We had a midwife, we had a doula, we had it, right? And it was on purpose. We did it on purpose. We didn't just forget to go somewhere else to have the baby. It was like we decided we were going to do that.
Yep.
But it's like we didn't know what we didn't know with the first 2 children. Like we went to the hospital, we did it a certain way. We did it like the normal way that most people go to the hospital, have a baby. It's because we just didn't know what we didn't know. And I think that parallels with what you're doing too. It's like most people, they run themselves ragged and drive themselves crazy and think it's normal, and they're in fight or flight all the time. because they feel like it's just what you do, and they don't know what they don't know until they meet somebody like Michelle and say, oh, wait a second, there's a different way to do it.
Right.
And we found out a different way to have a baby, and we're so glad we did. Kasha was born at home, and it was beautiful. It was awesome.
Yes.
And this is, I don't know, the parallels it was just striking me that there's so many like that, because that's something that not everybody even knows about either. Like you can let you stay home and you have somebody come to your house and assist you to have a baby. That's crazy, you know. But
Which
once you know it,
I did as well. Yeah.
There you go.
I learned about it. Yep. And exactly. That's so cool. And I think like this hit me just this weekend is, you talk about delivering a child, right? Like the delivery. And it's interesting because we're doing deliverance, like delivering people, souls, from being so caught up and enmeshed and entangled in that survival matrix system and not even knowing it. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I love your story about, the man who broke the record with the 4-minute mile, because we could have put him up on a pedestal and said, oh, well, he's the one who has.
It'll never happen again. He's
right. No one else has been able to do what he can do. Instead, right, what happens is it gives permission for everyone else. And then everyone is able to find that within themselves. And then we saw just in that year, the impact that made in other people doing the same thing. So it's like, oh, so you're just a trendsetter. Your breakthrough allowed the ripple effect in other people to have the same breakthrough.
Yep.
And if we can imagine that we have more than one person setting those breakthrough spots, right? Like expanding beyond our normal current systems, then we all how much more, what's the word? It's not a quantum effect. It's
I'm not sure what you're going for.
I know. Come on. You're so good.
Otherwise, I would help you.
Words. I'm like, okay, well, it has a ripple effect. Compound. There we go. Thank you.
Compounding. There you go.
A compound effect, which is just exponential.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, one person equals 30 people, so 2 people equals 60. It's like one person equals 30 more that year, and 2 people equals 600, right? Or 500. Yeah. And so that's really what we're doing, is showing what's possible. And there's another phenomenon I'll talk about later with monkeys of showing just the bell curve of how when enough people get it, the mass majority just gets it. So there's other phenomenon like this. What's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Right before the break, it's so cool. I just learned this. Paul actually, so the Greek word for like a servant, like in the Bible, when Paul says like, I'm a servant of Christ Jesus, Jesus taking the form of a servant. Behold, I'm the servant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word. That word is actually doulos. I'm probably saying it wrong. And it's so interesting because that is where we actually get the word doula from. Mm-hmm. So it's like a servant and a slave. I know we have a negative connotation to slavery, but it's not in that way. It's a servant slave. And so that's where we actually get the word doula. So we have a midwife and a doula, and it's neat because, I'll talk more about how that looks, but it's like, if I'm acting as the midwife, right? We always have doulas supporting the journey as well.
Right. Well, and we just learned about this. I think it was last Sunday or the Sunday before. We're in Exodus, and we're in church, and they were talking about the concept of a bond servant versus a slave, right? So a bond servant was, if a person decided, you know what, I know I'm free. I know I was your servant for a long time, for like 7 years or whatever it was. Yeah. But you took such good care of me that I voluntarily want to be your servant for life. I want to be your bond servant. And so they signified that by putting a hoop in the left ear, and that signified that is I'm with you for life. You're my my person, for service. And so it's kind of like that, it's, yeah,
And I
it's your
didn't.
choice, right?
Yes, it is my choice. And what's so cool, I didn't say bondservant, but yes, this Greek word is that.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
is this word. So that's so neat. I learned. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's actually in scripture, this whole like doula idea. I didn't know that. I just was praying one day and
Well, there you
I
go.
got. So
I mean, see what happens when you just kind of cut loose and pray and see what happens, and
Yep.
you learn all kinds of fun stuff.
Totally. And so when we come back from the break, I'm gonna start sharing about what that looks like. We just had an intensive weekend and
Yeah.
saw some amazing things happen so quickly, with people being delivered from trauma, spiritual things, just experiencing an unshakable peace within themselves that they've never had before, and just seeing how quickly these things can happen that we just don't hear about in the world a lot of times, and just seeing it over and over and over again with different people from all walks of life. So it's like, no, there's no one special person that like, oh, there's something special about you that you can do this. No, we all have this within us, and it's just learning how to go through that process. So
right. Well, it's kind of like with who God chooses, right? Like he doesn't need any of us to do anything that he wants to accomplish. He could do that with it. Like he could nuke every single one of us and he could accomplish his purpose without any of us. But he chooses people, imperfect, broken, crazy people, and it's littered throughout the Bible, man. You talk about all these people that were giants in the Bible, but they were crazy, broken humans just like you and me, man. I mean, adulterers and drunkards and people that with speech impediments and people that didn't think they could speak at all. And like all these people, and God's like, you know what? Nope, it's you. I'm picking you. And he's like, no, don't worry. I got you. We're going to get you ready. And then you'll be awesome because of me, because I'm going to equip you. Right. So same kind of thing. It's just, we're just all broken, crazy humans. It's all good. So real quick before I'm doing it different too. This is, I'm going to do this instead. And we're going to just say real quick, I want to share something that I stumbled onto for all of you, no matter where you're watching. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second too, because wherever you're watching, I want to hear from you about this. So stumbled onto something really interesting to me. You guys know, I'm like everybody, Michelle, everybody out there, like you all know that I'm always looking for simple, natural ways to support my health without doing anything extreme, right? Like taking a fistful of vitamins or going to like create like what you're talking about, right? Like you shouldn't have to do all that crazy stuff, right? Well, this doesn't require that. I found a company called Healthy Home, and they got some really cool, thoughtful wellness resources that I think you out there should know about, like stuff that supports your body's ability to do what it's already knowing. It already knows how to do it, right? Repair, balance, improve, what's going on in there, even like with your skin and joints and everything. Like your body already knows how to do it. This is just helping it, right? So I've been digging into a little bit and learning how it works. And honestly, it just, like, for me, it's got to be logical. And this just makes sense. It's nothing crazy. Just support what the body is already wants to do, right? So if you've ever been even a little curious about that kind of thing, and you're in the same camp as Michelle and I, and you like things natural, and you don't want to pop a pill, and you don't want to have to go to the doctor all the time. You don't want to have to, right? If natural is your way of, that's how you roll, give this number a call. The nice people on the other end will answer your questions, or just scan the QR code and check it out. Just something cool I wanted to share with you, and just anybody that's interested. I just thought I'd throw it out there. So now, as far as what were we talking about? I'm relying on you to get us back on track, though, because I don't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about people in the Bible. We were
Oh,
talking
cool.
about.
Yeah. Okay, great. Um, so touche on the new thing. Usually I'm the one that throws you the new stuff and you adapt on the spot. I'm like, all right,
Damn.
be on my toes.
That's
Yes,
right.
sharing about what is soul midwifery and sharing about some of what that looks like. That's just absolutely extraordinary. Um, so we just did an intensive with several individuals where they come for a more extended period of time. So we're able to work with them, all day or,
Mhm.
for a day and a half or, just a longer period of time. And
Right.
it's extraordinary. The ones that come and do this have the foundational skills that we teach in our regular work. So they have a familiarity with us and they have, some basic understanding of concepts and how to regulate their nervous system and this kind of a foundation. And it was neat because there's just these struggles that people tend to not be able to just get rid of. And they usually have
Yeah.
done a lot of work around a lot of things and tried everything. So the first woman we worked with, she has been to multiple like psychics and gone into that realm of like that kind of stuff to try to help her understand like her body and her energy and her like her mind and her intuitive gifts, but that are overwhelming to her. And she
Yeah.
historically has struggled with like eating disorders, substance abuse,
Mm.
um, picking men that are not healthy or trustworthy, like just repetitive, right? It's these cycles and these patterns,
Yeah.
struggling with, lack of fulfillment in a career. Um, and so, but having this vision of like, but I want to do my passion project. I want to write my book. Like I've done so much work already in healing. Like I've come out of a lot of those things, but there's these blocks that are still there. And so what we got to witness with her was really finding the source of fear and the source of
Yeah.
shame and inviting God in and getting to encounter his love. And what's so amazing is watching that these things that we hold on to are real. Um, the Bible talks about how it's not a battle of flesh and blood, it's a battle of like principalities, right? Like
Mhm.
energies and forces and things like this. So with her, what was so interesting is watching, whatever needs to come up, come out, we get to the source of that and the trauma and these weird beliefs that we've held on to and all of it, right?
Yeah.
And so watching that come out and just you could see it, the weight of it, the way she described it as she became aware of these things is like, my body feels so heavy. Like this feels heavy. This feels cloudy. This feels dense. This feels like I'm dizzy. She's like, yeah, these dizziness spells hit me now and then. Right. So then,
Yeah.
okay. Then you're trying to figure out why you're dizzy. Is it your blood sugar? But it's like,
Yeah.
but then as we're bringing out these root things like this ingrained fear, this ingrained shame, this ingrained whatever, things you picked up from the psychics, it's like, and watching her describe it as a real phenomenon, seeing her body twitch as she started describing these things, right?
Mhm.
Seeing her face like change, seeing the emotions, and you can feel it, right? And so the way she would describe, yeah, when the dizziness things, it's like there's this block here in my head, and there's like a couple blocks to the side of that. And it's like, I feel like that is like gives me a lot of my thoughts that are very anxiety causing. I'm
Mm.
like, nobody on the street, maybe people on the street. I don't know how people would describe this on the street, but people do know these things when we are aware enough to tune in. They like,
Right.
I'm working with this gentleman and he's incredibly like, retired military, blah, 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 very like logical,
Yeah.
non-woo-woo, it's big that we're even working together. His wife worked on him for years so that he'd come. It's been years. Our first conversation, he got up and walked out.
Oh.
Years
All
later,
right.
we're working together, so that's great. But that's the kind of skepticism, like, right? That's the kind of man this is. And
Well,
first conversation, he's able to describe these similar kinds of things.
oh,
Like, this is where the source of that thought comes from. Yeah, there's like 3 different voices. There's the mean one, the one that gives me good ideas, and then there's the one that's angry.
Hmm.
You know, I'm like, we pay attention to what you're saying and what you're describing, what you're experiencing, because oftentimes it comes right out of your mouth, the kinds of things we're dealing with. So as
Sure.
she's describing this fear and this shame and all of this stuff, and being delivered from it, right? And then tuning in and inviting in the love of God. Like God is the essence, the substance of love. God is love.
Yep.
The actual love, not our human understanding of love.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Actual, unconditional, the essence of love.
Wow.
Which is truth also,
Yeah.
right? Love and truth and God. And so, you know, and then it's like you look at the opposite of that, and that's fear and deception and distortion and survival. So you could describe this in so many different languages, so many different ways, so many different terms. But as she's bringing in love into those places, you just literally miraculously, it's like watching her go through this whole thing. Just love washes over her entire being. And the blocks let go, the thoughts clear out. She experienced later that same day, she's like, nah, my head's quiet.
Nice.
Those aren't looping. Those aren't talking. It's quiet. I am in peace. And it feels like there's just a golden light surrounding me everywhere, you know, and we had to work through, you know, releasing those things and letting in love over and over and over again as she brings up these traumatic things. And so to watch someone transform from, an emotional basket case, right? And she talks about, oh, I'm anxious. Oh, my head's looping. Oh, I'm triggered back into the thing. Oh, I'm not clear. I'm so scared about my work and my job and like all these things, right? And to watch her go from that to just living in peace, completely free from those things that she's had with her most of her life is absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave birth, so I was there for my daughter's birth. I had a puppy that had puppies, right? My dog had puppies.
Right.
And there is this holiness to that birth experience. And this feels the exact same way. It is, I'm always just so honored I even get to be a part of it. You know, I'm just like floored and humbled and grateful and amazed at how God moves and shows up every single time. So that was one. And just to hear her describe how her body feels different, how her mind feels different, how she can then articulate these concepts that have been very hard for her to grasp.
Right.
Just all of a sudden now, you know, she's like talking more clearly and she has clarity for her book and it's remarkable. So we don't realize that these things we carry are real.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that we can also, we have agency. We are not, survival mode is a victim consciousness, actually.
Yeah.
And so we think, oh, it's just my brain. Oh, I'm just messed up and broken. Oh, I'm not worthy of whatever. Oh, I don't know why I'm struggling and I can't get it. Maybe it's me that I'm not learning good enough, you know, or whatever. I'm the slow one. Like, but all of those, I know all of those voices, narratives, levels of consciousness that are speaking, entities, if you will, like people describe it in different ways. But that's not the light of love. No. That's not the light of truth, like, and the truth will set you free. So when we realize that we, as humanity, as humans, as a person, as a being, who's autonomous, I have agency and I really can take every thought captive. We're not taught how. We teach how, right? But we're usually.
Well, it doesn't even matter. I mean, how is not the important thing, right? That's the right, because when the student's ready, the master appears, right? So it It doesn't matter, which I know is not necessarily, but where you were going with that, but it's like, it doesn't matter how, it just matters that you trust, because
Right.
it doesn't matter. Like, what is I don't remember the verse, but the lamp to your feet and a light to your path, right? It's not
Yeah.
a 5,000 lumen flashlight to your feet and a spotlight that'll light up the next 10 miles to your
Right.
path. It's otherwise, why would you need to trust? It's
Right.
the one step at a time.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then inside of that, trust, which is a very important component,
Mhm.
and being
Yeah.
gentle with yourself. Gentleness, trust, and surrender. Those are my 3 words. Okay. We got to be gentle with myself because
Yep.
love is always gentle, right?
Yep.
I can't be hard on myself or I'm just in the matrix of that, right?
Gonna send
So
yourself back down that spiral.
exactly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
gentleness, trusting the process,
Mhm.
and surrender. Like, am I gonna fight myself the whole time? Am I going to fight this the whole time? Am I going to fight life the whole time? God the whole time? Like what? Right? Am I going to hang on to my resistance? The opposite of that is surrender. Like, no, I'm going to let this go. So with that agency, we can take every thought captive. We can learn to actually do that in our bodies.
Yep.
To like be in the space of no thought, which is amazing because I thought that was like very few masters and gurus and blah, like only the wise sages that sit on top of a mountain for all day long can reach a space of no thought. That's not my experience. That's not our clients' experience. Like, it's happening very quickly where we're not just stuck in mental loops literally all the time, a reactionary way of living. Stimulus response. That survival mode. Majority of the world is in that. And then we're not conscious and aware. So the first thing is recognizing we have agency, we have autonomy, we have authority, we have sovereignty, and we can decide, do I want to keep this thought? Do I want to keep this fear? Do I want to stay here? Like, we actually have that choice. So whenever something comes up for me, as I'm guiding clients through, do you want to stay there? Right? Or do you want to be delivered from that and take one more little step on your soul journey, on your soul path? And so I choose no if it's something I do not want to keep around, or that thought I do not want to listen to. I literally say, like, no, thank you. Or I'm like, no, leave me now, or I'm not listening to you. I am choosing love. And simply in that inner choice, can't just be words, but I've done this now for so long. I'm like, people know how to choose. You don't really have to tell them that much. They're like, no, I don't want to keep that. I didn't know I had a choice, right? I did not know I had a choice. So no, thank you. And then I am choosing love here. And when I let that most highest love in, all of a sudden it's like the love, he does the work. So it's like inside of love and safety of that love and the light of that love, the golden light of that love, it's like a big bright light, like a candle in the darkness, right? That helps expose anything that's there. And all of a sudden you can see these new things, you can feel these shifts. And it really is that simple, just knowing people have a choice to like untangle from the survival system, one little thing at a time, and plug into that higher network and learning to listen and be connected into that higher place, and that of love. And that is what's so beautiful. So that's one of the stories I got to see this weekend. And there were just story after story. Not sure if we'll have time to get to that, but I wanted to share some of the concepts that in the moments that we have these struggles, these things, these thoughts, these patterns show up, remembering, wait a second, I have agency. That's my birthright. And I get to choose if I'm going to stay there or am I going to choose love in this moment, and choose to listen to Jesus and truth and love and the highest voice, right? Instead of all the other voices of the world. In that choice, everything can open up and we can be delivered of those things.
That reminds me of the guest I just had on the show last week. His name's Mike, and he lives with used to be called multiple personality disorder. Now it's called dissociative identity disorder. Apparently, that's the new name for it. And he was awesome, man. So he would be talking to me on the show, and then all of a sudden you'd see him kind of do this, and I'd be like, and I knew what he was doing because we would talk before the show, right? Like I had a couple conversations. But if for those of you that aren't that maybe see that show and go, what the heck is that? He's acknowledging the noise in his head. He's acknowledging the conversations between these 8 altars that are in his mind, and he's acknowledging it so that he can. It's like he's saying, "No, I'm talking right now. I hear you, but I'm talking right now. Moving on." And it's like in A Beautiful Mind, where Russell Crowe had like Ed Harris, and there was a couple other characters in there, and it controlled him at the beginning. But by the end of the movie, they were kind of in the background, and he kind of looked back and like, oh, there you are. Okay, yeah, bye. And kind of could decide whether or not he engaged him.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a choice.
It's a choice, and
it's totally
like,
a choice.
I know that that's seen in an extreme way, but every human being I have met has that same experience. We just don't relate to it that way.
Yeah.
Because when you start pointing it out, it's like, well, what said that out of your mouth? And then they're like, right. Oh, that was fear. Well, what said that? Oh, that was shame. I don't know why I'm harping on fear and shame, but it needs harped on.
I mean,
so it's like, it's
pretty
like
common. So.
Right. What said that? Oh, that was pride. And that's not my heart. Yeah. That's not love. My heart is for love. So it's like, right. So that's like, we all have this disassociative identity disorder spiritually, like cognitively. That's and true. So it's not just learning how to say, I hear you talking, and I'm going to stay here. It's actually being like, you got to go. I'm kicking you out.
Yeah.
And so there is, we see all of those other voices. We've pulled up the soul map before, right? Of the different levels of consciousness. It's like, this is the egoic love. And then this is my attachments around happiness. And then this is my pride. And this is my shame. And this is my guilt. And this is my whatever. And these different places we can operate in. And survival mode is very low on the map. It's eliminating all of those voices so we can be free to be who we really are, and we can be free to be vessels of love. And that's that higher network that is not survival mode. So it's like, there's no technique that's going to do all that. It really is learning to listen to love, to one voice, and be not double-minded, which makes people unstable in all their ways, right? Yeah. And this isn't just double-minded. This is quite, however many minded we are.
Yeah.
And so it's having all of those voices subside and choosing the most high out of all of that. And when you can really operate in the highest all the time and see the highest opportunity in every situation, and view the world through the highest view possible in that moment and continuing to grow from there, that is a very different way of living. That's not toxic positivity. That's not being an optimist, because most people do those, but they still are in survival, right? They're like, well, yeah, I see it this way, but if I tell myself enough times it's positive, great. No, this is until you have it in your own experience. I have the experience of not having any other voices in my head like this woman, after just spending a half a day at that point with us, or whatever, a day.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's so cool. And to watch her then have control over herself, her body, her thoughts, her mind, all of these areas of her that she didn't know what to do. So she'd try to do grounding and picture grounding cords. And that's what the psychic told her. And it's like, you got to let all that go. That's not the highest love. And when she experienced that in her own experience, that's an undeniable experience. It's different for everyone. It's not my experience. You're not going to experience what I do, but there's going to be similarities of that's it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I feel it that way too. I never described it that way before, but yeah, I get that that's your experience. When we have an actual experience, no more voice of fear controlling the narrative of our lives, that is what is the 4-minute mile right now. And
Right.
that's what we're doing, showing people how to do and showing them how to do it for themselves without needing us ongoingly,
Right.
so that they can live their lives and walk it out from a place of love with themselves. They're plugged into the higher network. They don't need us or anybody else to be plugged in for them.
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing is, even early on when you work with people, like I remember this with when you were helping me through this, and it was like right at the very, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks in or whatever. It was very early on. You kind of bring people into that. You brought me into that kind of that parasympathetic world. It was hard because I was not used to that. I didn't know what that felt like. I didn't know how to get there. That's not where I lived. I lived in the sympathetic of freezing and panicking and, fight or flight and all that. And so to be in this world that you kind of invited me into just for a little bit during that session, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. And then that keeps you going to the next step and the next step and the next step, so that you can bring it into your world, like permanently, or long term, and then how to do it yourself. And then, but you got to get that little glimpse at the beginning, right? Otherwise, it's like it's like seeing that false summit for Mount Everest, right? It's like, oh, we're here. No, crap.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And then it's like, but if it's the false summit and you know that you're going to get to the summit eventually, it gives you hope to keep going. So that's huge. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Which is so cool. And, the majority of the world live in survival mode. And I think the first step people have to take is recognizing that they are in survival mode. And the hardest people to work with are the ones that have done a lot of personal development, like holistic stuff. Maybe they've done somatic work or deep breathing or like personal development, life coaching, Joe Dispenza. They meditate, they do heart math, they do all these things.
Breath work and all
right.
this.
So they're like, oh, I'm pretty regulated. And then you're like,
none of those things are like terrible by themselves for other things. Like they're not terrible by themselves. It's just they're all missing a piece.
Yeah, they're not doing this. Right. So it's like, the most dangerous thing is if you're in the matrix, but you think you're out. Right? Because then there's I'm not in the matrix. That's even more unconscious than someone who knows they're in the matrix and they're seeking to get out. So there's some really tricky places here.
Yeah, and don't be Cypher. Don't be Cypher. Be Neo. That's the moral of the story. And if you haven't seen The Matrix, go watch The Matrix. It's like 30 years old. You should have seen it by now.
I know.
But yeah,
one of my favorites.
Yes, we were just watching that movie a couple days ago. I love that movie.
Yay! It was in preparation for this show.
There you go. See?
So first step, you got to recognize you're in it in order to get out of it. And if you are having fear-based thoughts through your life pop up, traumas be triggered, blah, 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 ongoing physical symptoms, you're in survival mode.
Right.
You are in a lower state of awareness. And you don't have to stay there. So the second thing is, see where you're at. That's number one.
Yep.
And then number two is making a choice. Do I want to stay here or not? And knowing you have agency on whether you stay or go, or whether you allow them to stay or go, right? Those things. And simply that choice is what unlocks the next step. And every step has a choice. Do I stay here or do I keep going? Do I stay here or do I keep going? And then, yes, God's word is a light unto our path and a lamp unto our feet. And I might have switched those. A lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. It's probably both of them. But anyway, so, and so that's what, then when you have that light and you're walking forward, you can see those next steps. But you gotta let in the light. And then you can make the choice to take the steps.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's okay if you don't know the rest of the. I am so hung up, and I know we don't have time to get into this now, but I have always been, and maybe this was why it took a little bit longer for you and I to get through what I needed to get through to get to the parasympathetic. But I have always been a yes, but how? How is it gonna? How are we gonna do it? How is it gonna work? How do we do that? And the how is not that important if you settle into the okay, we're gonna do it. I don't know how, but it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Right. It's, I don't know how it's gonna work out, but I'm excited to see what happens, right?
Yep.
Kind of thing. So, and not get hung up on the how.
I know.
So,
quick thing on that, because we've been talking about it this week with our co-founder at Enduring Hope, that it's like the choice to climb a mountain. And everyone's like looking at the people that are up there like, is it beautiful? Yes. Well, how do I know that? What if your definition of beautiful is not my definition of beautiful? What if I can't do it? What if you're lying? It's like, it's the same thing. Well, how am I going to get up there? Well, what's the experience going to be like? And it's like, you won't know until you do it. There's nothing I can say to you. You have to make the choice to climb the mountain. And once you're on the top, you can see everything, but you cannot see everything when you're at the base of the mountain. Right. You got to just decide that's where I'm going, and I'm in it and I'm doing it. And so a lot of people get stuck at the foothill. Well, is it going to work? Well, can I trust it? Well, blah, blah, blah. Well, what's it going to be like? Well, how are there false summits? Well, am I going to feel like continuing? What if I want to give up? What if I do give up? Why should I even get started? I mean, there's so much stuff, which is all the point of the matrixy thing we're tied into, right? Right. It's like, where do you want to be? Make a choice, start walking. And I pray that everybody has good mentors, teachers, and people that have lived it so that they can learn. And that's, you can scan our QR code if anything.
I was going to say, if you need somebody, if you don't have that good teacher and if you haven't gotten good information in the past and you don't know what to do, this is the perfect QR code to scan.
Here you go.
Perfect. Yes. And I'm sure that everything that Chronic Illness Solution has gone through a lot of change over the last year or so. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's probably reflected at least partly in what you'll see on the other side of that QR code, because I haven't gone to all of the corners of the website, but there are definitely changes in there. So, so scan. And then get on the calendar. And if you want to know more, obviously, this is the girl you want to talk to right here. Michelle is the one you want to talk to, and or whoever. I mean, there's more than it's you, and there's a team, right? So it's not just if they don't find you, they can talk to the team, and it's all good. So awesome. Well, I think that is it for today. I think we're out of time, but I can't wait for you to come back and talk to us again on
Soul Midwifery.
There you go, Soul Midwifery. So everybody, just join us for our next show, which will be on Friday, the 6th. Friday, February 6th is our next show. And then the next time that we will see Michelle is going to be Tuesday, the 17th. So next time you see, so we'll see you on the 17th, Michelle, and we'll see you all on the 6th for our next show. And until then, have an awesome day, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Thank you.